Hello everyone and welcome back to Dragalia Foundry, a fan channel where everything Dragalia Lost can be found. This video is going to contain my thoughts on this month in Dragalia Lost for the month of September 2021. In case you're not aware, this month in Dragalia Lost is a news post in which the game's director, Okada, shares details about what's to come for the month ahead and often teases things about the game's future as a whole. In this video, I'm going to react to what's coming in September, and I should also add, in case you're not aware, September is the anniversary month for Dragalia Lost. So I'm expecting in the last few weeks of September, we should find out a lot more on the events, some of the freebies, free summons, double drop events that will be happening to close out the month and carry well into October if past years are precedent. This is the third anniversary, so we've already had 2 years worth of free stuff, lots of goodies, and it's usually a very exciting time to be playing the game. That being said, a lot of that information is revealed in a video in a Dragalia digest that gets posted toward the end of the month, so I do think the this month post will be a little bit on the shorter side today. We'll see what there is to offer, and we'll probably find out a lot more as the month moves along. Now, if you are new to the game, this is a really good time to be playing or jumping in, just because you can kind of prepare yourself, get yourself situated, familiar with some of the mechanics, some of the trials in Dragalia Lost that you want to do on a recurring basis. You'll probably be better off for the anniversary if you start preparing now. That's always been my perspective on it. There's no time like the present to jump into Dragalia Lost, and I think that in this case in particular, if you get started now, you'll put yourself in a pretty good position by the end of the month. I expect this to be a quieter period as far as events go, but that presents an opportunity to catch up on a lot of the permanent content in the game because at this point there's quite a lot of that. And last year there were things I never saw coming with the anniversary, like the Alberian Battle Royale, so who knows what we're going to have this year. I think that we're bound to see some interesting surprises when we do get later on into September. But anyway, our focus for today is the This Month post, and I'm just going to provide my thoughts, my reaction to it, and opinions on it. So let's go ahead and head into that now. There are a few things that are also noteworthy, but are sort of discussed within the context of the post itself. So we'll kind of scroll through it, and we may break out to talk about summon showcases, to talk about Sinister Dominion bosses, since those are some of the relevant things happening in September. Alright, so here we go. Yuji Okada here, director of Dragalia Lost. As always, he starts off by thanking us for playing Dragalia Lost, and then says he's excited to share the latest news on what's happening in and around the game this month. Never forgets to thank us for playing. We first began here with the Knights of Alberia invasion event. Leif, Harl, and their old friend Cecile have been reunited after many trials and tribulations, but the long march of time has taken its toll on their relationships with one another. Learn more about the mysterious Harl's past, and come face to face with this enigma for the first time in the present. So you can see Cecile here and Leif there. Love this outfit for Leif. This is a super cool look for him, and I also love that Harl is featured in this event. Now I have to admit, I've only played through the first 2 chapters of the story so far, so I have not completed the story yet. I'm planning on making a full-on video talking about Knights of Alberia this weekend, playing through the Harl's trial as well. So I'm looking forward to that, but I don't have a lot to comment on based on what I've seen so far. I see that it takes place in the city of Grams. Templars are chasing after Leif. He's not supposed to be in the north. Cecile helps him out. That's about where I am at this point in the story. And Cecile, of course, has a nasty Manitou habit and seems to have a troubled past. So I'm not sure what's going to happen. Like these 2 characters, Leif is a huge fan favorite, of course, and then I like Cecile's design as well. She's an interesting character. We'll read on, but we'll revisit these 2 in particular as adventurers as we continue on. Speaking of standoffs, the prince's former foe, Gala Volk, is featured in a Gala Dragalia available now, and I did post a separate Should You Summon video about Gala Volk. I think a lot of you had some really good and insightful comments that did lead me to reconsider a little bit my analysis. I saw it as a risk-reward trade-off, but some of the things that y'all raised, such as hitting the affliction cap by being more likely to cause poison or Stormlash, I think that's a very valid point. A lot of times I've been playing with Formal Noel or Halloween Melsa, and they can reduce poison resistance, so that's not as much of a problem. But I think it's still legitimate, and I just was surprised and interested to see, a lot more concern about the lack of affliction resistance. And so I think that shows that there are a lot of different playstyles in Dragalia Lost. Like, this was a very valid concern for a lot of players, and it's a little sad because I think I want to see as many Volks as possible. I've already seen some in the Invasion event summoning their Blood Moons, and it's super sweet looking. But it seems like a lot of players were on the more judicious side and leaning against summoning on this one. That was the impression I got from the comments at the least. So anyway, let's move on from Gala, Beast to Volk and get into plans for this month. Cecile and Civilian Leaf will appear in a prize showcase starting on September 3rd. For further details like their stats and skills, see the corresponding in-game notification, so we'll definitely hop over and take a look at that. But before we do, we also should read here that Iblis will debut as a boss in Rise of the Sinister Dominion on September 3rd as well, so this is a simultaneous release. His elemental attunement will change from water to shadow mid-battle on master difficulty. I love Iblis's design here with the bats, the vampire thing going on, and changing from water to shadow, so you get to use wind adventures primarily, and then in master difficulty in phase 2 you also get to use your light adventurers. Very excited to get some additional weapon slots on, or wormprint slots I should say, on my wind attuned weapons. But we'll pop out now to take a look at this showcase, and we'll also take a look at the post about Iblis because I just want to go on about this character design. But let's take a look at the prize showcase first. As a reminder, when it comes to these prize showcases, I think while the prizes are a nice bonus, they are seldom the reason to summon. When you look at the appearance rates for these prizes, the drop rates, the bronze prize just is not very good. And when you do a 10-fold voucher, your final summon, your final summon is guaranteed to be a platinum, gold, silver, or bronze. So platinum is great, gold is pretty good. Silver, you start to have things that are more of a whiff, like some of the orbs here and some of the great spheres and high dragon tails, and then bronze also has more that are not quite as good, and it's not even elaborated upon here. So basically these prizes are kind of a nice bonus if you're going for these characters and want them anyway, but not usually a reason to summon. In the past, there have sometimes been prize showcases with really good rates. There was one of those in December of, let's see, what year was it? I guess December 2020, or was it 2019? It was a while ago. I think it was 2020, but it feels like so long ago now. There was one quite good prize showcase with like Naveed on it. I remember him being there. But since then, they've all kind of had like similar rates. So anyway, I'll read on. Cecile is, let's go back up here, but she's a rapid fire style wind mana caster, and then Civilian Leaf is a light sword. Just gonna kind of do a quick run through. I think with the rapid fire mana casters, they've all been pretty good. So that kind of bodes well for Cecile's prospects. Her mechanics are related to Manitou and having a Manitou gauge. She can cost Stormlash, and then she has a Poison Blast variant on this skill, her second skill as well, which causes poison and gives you a strength amp. So more amps. Gauge Accelerator, which is standard for mana casters. And then this sort of explains how her Manitou gauge works. Seems to fit her character quite well, but for me feels like one of those adventures that you would need to play to get a sense for how they really feel to play. And then Civilian Leaf is a light sword here. He can cause adaptive suppression and paralysis, and then Unfettered Loyalty, lower enemy light resistance and give the user a strength amp, and has an interesting chain code ability with a low HP shield, abilities, Pledge of Justice, Force Strike that deals 2 hits and causes bleeding, I like that, and increases damage dealt by the Force Strike by 20%, immune to knockback when charging, and then Poison Res and debuff skill time, which does work with bleeding. I do like bleeding. I actually have liked it a lot more lately. With the change to it, as well as just the Bleeding Punisher print, now that all these weapon types have so many slots, I feel like the 11% Punisher isn't horrible in some situations where you don't have an easy-to-use double Punisher setup. Like in the Water element, I've been doing Frostbite Punisher with Bleeding Punisher together because I have Summer Ieyasu on my teams now. So I actually kind of think this is interesting, but both of these characters to me don't look especially must-have or lucrative or like exclusive. They both seem replaceable to me. Maybe I'll be wrong about Cecile with her being a rapid-fire mana caster. They've all been very good so far. And Leaf looks like, maybe being a really good light sword could be good in phase 2 of Iblis or perhaps Legend Tartarus. But I don't really see a compelling reason to summon, especially with the anniversary so close. So that's kind of a quick take on the showcase. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about here, Iblis' Surging Cascade coming to the Rise of the Sinister Dominion. Let's read the description here. How unseemly are the gentled masses of the inferior. The secluded demon chuckles scornfully, contempt and disgust, commingling as he thinks of the angels that have been swallowed by the seething herd. The weak are an anchor yoked to the neck of others, and as such ought to remain silent and servile to the strong. And the name of the one who espouses vainglory as principle? Iblis. His is an opportunistic independence, and he cherishes arrogance above all else as he flits gracefully about the dark. Just love the description on this character, the design. One of the things that I feel has made the Agito some of the best bosses in Dragalia Lost is that they are more human in their visual design and also in just some of the flaws, the ideologies, the beliefs they have. It's really interesting to think about their perspectives and how warped their perspectives have become in their madness. I think they're super cool villains, and for me, this is the first Sinister Dominion boss that really hits me in a similar way. It's just a little harder for me to sort of relate to like Asura's design or Yaldabaoth's or even Lilith's. And I really am excited about this character, so I hope his boss fight is awesome. I'm hoping I get to use Eleanor against him, of course. And besides that, just, it's another opportunity for new mechanics. Hopefully it's a little bit interesting and different than the previous fights we've had. I would love to see a new arena, which I don't think is going to happen at this point, but something a little bit on the darker side to fit with the theme of this character compared to that bright Sinister Dominion arena that we're used to in the City of Grams. Like, I would love to see something like that for this character because I just feel like he would be super fun. But anyway, I'm looking forward to this. This comes out tomorrow. I'll see if I can beat it this week. I'm not sure if we'll be able to squeeze it in this weekend, but expect a video on that sometime this month, hopefully soon. And now, going back to this month in Dragalia Lost, let's continue on. We talked about the Summon Showcase. We talked about our new Sinister Dominion battle. Now let's talk about Aldred. So you saw him walking across my screen earlier at the beginning of the video. Aldred and 2 other adventurers will appear in a defensive event in mid-September. In addition to an adventurer appearing for the very first time, an existing adventurer will appear in a new getup. Very, very interesting. So Aldred's event, Scars of the Syndicate, I feel must be a pretty popular event. The boss for it was notoriously undertuned the first time round, and unfortunately, as cool as the Mad Kid music was and sort of the style and aesthetics of the event, that is what I really remember because Shadow is just so powerful as an element, especially at the time that, the boss just went down super fast. But I do know there are a lot of Aldred fans out there, and also that was the banner that introduced Belina and Grace, who are infamous adventures in Dragalia Lost, more so Grace, but Belina had her day in the sun for sure. So I don't know, when they say an existing Yeah. Oh no, an adventure appearing for the first time and an existing adventure will appear in a new getup. Aldred and 2 other adventures. So I don't know if it'll be like a new Aldred. They do show him in kind of his traditional outfit here, so that makes me think that maybe not. Maybe it's just Aldred central to the story, and the other 2 adventurers are the ones that are actually summonable, one of which is appearing for the first time, the other in a new getup. Now, in the Syndicate event, there is a character called the Doctor that has a very distinct portrait for an NPC, but he seems strictly a villain, so I don't know if he's going to be an adventure all of a sudden. It seems unlikely. As far as an existing adventure in a new getup, maybe we could get a Belina alt, maybe we could get a Grace alt, perhaps. Grace alt more with the worm binding type of aesthetic of Aldred and Belina that they already have. But this should be a pretty good one. I also think that it would be very, very funny to have Life Shield amp, just Life Shield, but now it works with Curse of Nihility. I actually don't want that to happen, but that would be almost so cursed that I think that it would be kind of funny because we have strength amps, we have defense amps. Why not? Give them the Life Shield amp for easier auto battles in the Sinister Dominion. I don't think it's going to happen, but part of me would be amused, I must admit. For me, this is just like almost definitely going to be a skip for lack of summoning resources, but I am curious to see who makes an appearance here. Let's move on past Aldred. Materials for unlocking Yaten's Mana Spiral will be available from the daily bonus for Nidhogg's Trial and Trials of the Mighty. That's already started. Did try that out yesterday and was surprised. Did not find auto success the first time around. Nidhogg's Enervation seemed to affect me quite badly. And so, yeah, did not clear that without a little bit of manual rolling toward the end to get my DPS just up enough that I could clear in time. But probably have ways to go as far as optimizing my team, so I'm not too worried about it. Trials of the Mighty for me continues to be mostly auto battle, but I will say that there was a sense of spectacle to the fight that seemed cool. Like when I was watching my phone on autoplay, I was seeing like lanterns that it looked like lanterns and like clones of Nidhogg in large purple areas and a flaming purple ring. Like it looked like a lot was happening, which is one of my main asks of the Trials of the Mighty. If they're going to be the same bosses that we fought before, make them feel a little bit more fresh and interesting and give them some really cool moves that do have a sense of spectacle. I feel like that this one achieved that. So, and Yaten's a sweet character, so I'm glad to see him get a Mana Spiral. Still don't love that this is the way that Mana Spirals are distributed nowadays, but I think that we're well into it, and I don't really have much to add on that point. We do hear though, that wind and water attuned versions of Yaldabaoth will appear as raid bosses in mid-September. We knew that, but I believe the new part is materials for Kirsty's Mana Spiral are going to be from the wind Yaldabaoth and then Lazri's from the water Yaldabaoth. Both characters deserving of a Mana Spiral. Love to see all 3 of these characters lined up here, of course. And moving on from that, the Divine Deception Facility event will return in mid-September. Not a whole lot to say here, but Rosarda is a great character. Good event. Ferris also features in this event as well. And perhaps a good reminder, perhaps coming at a time so that something related may happen with the anniversary event, and we'll learn more about all these characters again, and it'll be a refresher. That could be a nice little lineup there for mid-September. And then from there, a Time Attack Challenges event pitting you against light-attuned enemies will be held in late September, so we're getting a Time Attack against Asura. I heard that there was cheating in the last Time Attack, which is alarming, but apparently the person that won, their account was deactivated or disabled after they were caught, so that's sad to see, but hopefully this is still competitive and interesting for those Time Attack Challenges fans out there. I have not been able to get that invested in Time Attack for lack of time lately, but I do the dailies at least, and the rewards, the free stuff is pretty good still, so I have no quarrel with Time Attack as I may once have had. Part 2 of Chapter 21 of the main campaign will be added in late September. This chapter features interactions between various characters and helps slowly unravel the mystery surrounding the presence of a powerful foe. I wholeheartedly recommend that you finish reading this chapter before diving into the 3rd anniversary event. Very, very sweet. So I did post a Chapter 21 Part 1 reaction video a few weeks ago at this point, I believe. Or maybe was it last week? Gosh, time, what is time? But anyway, the comments were great on that. A lot of things that I failed to recall in my video. And just to remind about like some of the relevance of other characters, Zethia. I don't want to give away too much for those who aren't caught up on the main campaign, but there are some really interesting candidates for who might be the Gala adventure for the anniversary, because they're going to be connected in some way to Chapter 21, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that arc sort of wraps up. It sounds like it won't just be Chapter 21, though, because as we read along here, we get 3 more updates under future updates. We'll start here. The final boss to appear in Rise of the Sinister Dominion will be Surtr. He won't be available to battle until the end of October, but I hope that you're looking forward to the challenge. Super sweet. Surtr, obviously a character in Fire Emblem Heroes. The name is familiar, and obviously just a mythological character, I believe. But let's think through this. So it's the final boss in the Rise of the Sinister Dominion, so we should be able to deduce the elements of this boss. So with Lilith, we had, and I'm going to use the elements of the teams that you battle the boss with. So with Lilith, you use light and then water adventurers. With Yaldabaoth, you used flame and then wind adventurers. With Asura, you used shadow and then flame adventurers. And with Iblis, we're going to use wind and then light adventurers. So where does that leave us? I believe we need to use water adventurers in the first half and shadow adventurers in the second half. I think that's correct. Correct me if I'm wrong. It shouldn't be that challenging of a problem, but articulating it, my mind wanders here. So I think it would be water and then shadow adventures, because water has never had a first half opportunity, and shadow has yet to have the second half opportunity, if you will. So I think that's what Surtr will be, which means Surtr will be a flame into a light boss. Which fits with what little I know about Surtr as a concept, the flame part at least. Moving on from that, Dragalia Lost welcomes its 3rd anniversary on September 27th, 2021. Further details will be provided in a Dragalia Digest in late September. Alright, there we go. And preparations for events to commemorate and celebrate the 3rd anniversary are well underway. The story this year will be substantial and span 2 parts, and unlike the 1st and 2nd anniversary stories that recounted past events, the 3rd anniversary story will share a timeline with current events taking place in the main campaign. Alright, there we go. So that's what I was alluding to, of course, with Chapter 21 being a conclusion to this arc. Maybe that conclusion will actually spill over into these events, but the fact that the story spans 2 parts is pretty exciting. And we also, of course, get this final note. I hope that you're as excited as I am to celebrate this momentous milestone. And finally, we get a little gift from the developers, 5 summon vouchers and 30 exquisite honey, with the next this month scheduled for around October 1st. Well, this was a fun read-through for me. It's not a whole lot of new information, but hadn't made any videos this week, so it was kind of fun to talk through together just about the showcase, about our new boss coming out, and some of the news for the month of September. I'll be back this weekend with a video about the event, maybe a video about Iblis if I am able to defeat him over the weekend. May not do one on the summon showcase specifically, since we talked about it today, and I have no business summoning at this point, and I think it's probably going to be best to save, but playing against Iblis will probably give me more information to know that for certain, to see how easy or hard it is with the current roster I have. But anyway, y'all, that is going to do it for this video. Let me know what you're most excited about for September 2021 in Dragalia Lost in the comments below. That is going to do it for today, though, so thank you as always for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time.